Hello everyone, welcome back to the e-learning space for MGM Higher Secondary School, Bokaro. This is the first video for English course book Unit 7, Section C of Class 8. The title of the lesson here is Merchant of Venice, and it is written by the famous playwright William Shakespeare. About the writer, William Shakespeare, baptized in the year 1564 and died in the year 1616, was an English playwright, poet, and actor, widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatist. He is often called England's national poet and the Bard of Avon, or simply the Bard. His extant works, including collaborations, consist of some 39 plays, 154 sonnets, two long narrative poems, and a few other verses, some of uncertain authorship. His plays have been translated into every major living language and are performed more often than those of any other playwright. They also continue to be studied and reinterpreted. Here is a picture of the very famous playwright William Shakespeare. About the play The Merchant of Venice by William Shakespeare. The Merchant of Venice is a 16th century play written by William Shakespeare in which a merchant in Venice named Antonio defaults on a large loan provided by a Jewish money lender, Shylock. It is believed to have been written between 1596 and 1599. Although classified as a comedy in the first folio and sharing certain aspects with Shakespeare's other romantic comedies, the play is most remembered for its dramatic scenes. As students of English literature and language, it is expected of you to know about this renowned playwright, William Shakespeare. If you want to discuss more about him, there's always the internet. However, here, The Merchant of Venice, a simple abridged scene is given for you. Let us go through it. There's some characters in the play, like the Duke of Venice, Antonio, a merchant in Venice, Bassanio, Antonio's very close friend, Shylock, a money lender, and Portia, who is Bassanio's wife, but she's disguised as a lawyer. What is the scene? Antonio, a merchant in Venice, borrowed 3,000 ducats from Shylock. Ducats is a denomination of money. It's a currency. A money lender at the Rialto for his friend Bassanio. He agreed to repay it after 3 months or allow Shylock to cut off a pound of his flesh in lieu. Unfortunately, Antonio's ships sank and he was unable to repay Shylock. So Shylock went to the Venetian court. Unknown to all, Portia, Bassanio's wife, came to the court disguised as a lawyer. So this is an unusual arrangement. A man borrowed money for his friend from a moneylender. He promised to return the amount of money with interest within 3 months. Unfortunately, he lost in business and could not return the money. The arrangement was that if he is unable to return the money, then the moneylender, here a Jewish man, Shylock, would cut off a pound of his flesh in return for the money lended to him. Now, the term that was given to him, the amount of time given to him has expired. He hasn't returned the money. So they are in a court where he is demanding for the pound of flesh as it was promised. Let us read the setting of the scene. The scene is of a courtroom. The Duke is in his seat and Antonio, Bassanio and Shylock are present. Portia enters dressed like a doctor of laws. The Duke begins the scene. He speaks. Please take your place. Are you acquainted, you, with the case that requires attention? Portia, dressed as a lawyer, says, "Yes, I have been informed thoroughly of the case. Which is the merchant here and which the moneylender?" The Duke says, "Antonio and old Shylock, please stand." Portia, "Yes, is your name Shylock?" Shylock replies, "Yes, Shylock is my name." Portia continues, "I must admit that your case is very unusual, but under Venetian law, we cannot stop you from proceeding with your claim." Then she turns to Antonio and says, "He has a claim on you, is that correct?" Antonio says, "Yes, so he says." Portia says, "Do you acknowledge the agreement?" Antonio says, "I do." So in this beginning scene, we see it is a scene of a courtroom. The Duke, the lawyer, and both the parties, that is Shylock and Antonio, that were involved in lending and borrowing of money are here. The case is being kept in front, means it is being discussed, and they're talking about it being very unusual. Yes, it is unusual because in return of the money loaned, he requires a pound of flesh. This is quite unusual for anybody. The scene continues, and because Antonio has accepted that he made such an arrangement with Shylock, Portia the lawyer suggests of mercy. She says, "Then the moneylender must show you mercy." Shylock, the moneylender, says, "On what compulsion must I? Tell me that." Portia says, "Nobody can be forced to show mercy, but it falls like the gentle rain on the ground for its own good. Mercy is a double blessing. It blesses both the person who shows it and the person who receives it. It is the real strength of mighty and powerful people. Mercy is a more beautiful crown than the one a monarch wears. The king's scepter is a symbol of majesty and represents his earthly power, his royal authority. But mercy is much grander and far superior to the scepter. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings and is an attribute of God Himself. When a king tempers his justice with mercy, he reflects this divine quality perfectly. Therefore, Shylock, though you demand justice, consider this: if we always insist on justice alone, none of us would be saved. We pray for mercy to be shown to us, but that same prayer teaches us to show mercy to others. I have told you this to persuade you to give up this case. However, if you still insist, this court of Venice will have to pass sentence on the merchant according to the agreement he signed. Before beginning the legalities of the case here, Portia, who is dressed as a lawyer, tells Shylock that you should show this poor man some mercy. And Shylock, being the hardened moneylender that he is, disagrees. He said, "Why should I be forced to give somebody mercy?" Portia appeals to his emotions and sentimentalities and says that nobody can be forced to give mercy. However, mercy is of a great and grand nature. You know, when a king shows superiority to his subject, he holds a scepter. What is a scepter? It is a golden rod, a rod signifying the power of the king. And generally, it is said the king is the representative of God on earth. So every time if we walk and look for justice, then nobody will be safe. But justice has to be tempered. Tempered means sprinkled, you can say softened with some mercy. We must reach a justified decision, but it should also have mercy in it. Only then it becomes perfect. She is appealing to the sentiment and emotion of the money lender Shylock. According to her, any agreement that is signed, if it fails to be kept, however, the person in front agrees and he is not running away from that agreement, then the money lender at least should keep that in consideration, that this man is not a fraud. He has certain problems that he wasn't able to keep the terms of the promises made. Hence, he should be shown some mercy. But Shylock is not one to be reasoned with. He is quite bent upon getting justice the way it is mentioned in the laws. Shylock says, I take full responsibility for my actions. I want the law, the penalty, and the fulfillment of my contract. According to Shylock, the man who was making the promise or was agreeing to the terms and condition of the entire arrangement knew what he was signing for. So now he should not run away from the consequences. Like Shylock agrees that I am taking responsibility for my action, in the same way, the person involved in this promise agreement arrangement should also take responsibility for his own actions. Shylock here wants the law to take its due course. He wants to be substantiated with penalty, means if he needs to get the interest, if he is entitled to some money in return, he must get it. In fact, he also wants that because the contract has been violated, that is, Antonio could not return the said amount within 3 months of time. Hence, he now has to give a pound of flesh. His flesh from the body has to be removed and that has to be given to Shylock. Portia says, is he not able to pay back the money? This is a question that the lawyer is asking. As soon as Portia asks this, Bassanio steps forward to interrupt. He says, yes, I'm willing to pay back the money for Antonio, twice the sum if the money lender wants it. If that is not enough, I'm willing to pay 10 times that amount and pledge my hands, my head, my heart as security. If this will not be enough, it must appear then that you are just evil and malicious. Then he turns to the Duke and says, I beg you, just this once, use your authority to bend the law, do a great right by doing a little wrong, don't let this devil have his way. Bassanio is extremely perturbed, extremely disturbed that his friend Antonio borrowed money for him, but he could not pay on time and now he has to pay the price. The price is a really horrendous one, a really evil one. What is the price? Antonio has to cut off a pound of his own flesh and give it to Shylock. So Bassanio interrupts this whole process and says that I am ready to pay twice the amount that was borrowed. In fact, I am ready to give the amount 10 times the original. However, if this man, Shylock, the moneylender, does not agree to this, he is just an evil person. I'm also ready to give my hand, my head, my heart as security. He is basically saying that cutting off a pound of flesh from my friend's body is a very evil thing to do. It is better if he would just accept 10 times the money from me. He also turns to the Duke and says that you are a person of authority. So right now something wrong is going to happen. And even though I know these were the terms agreed upon, you have to be flexible about it. You have to show a little mercy. You have to turn around the law a little bit just to do something right. And you will be doing a great right. Even though I know you will not be following word to word of the agreement, you will be doing a great right. Do not let this man Shylock get his way because he is an evil person. However, Portia says that can't happen. There is no power in Venice that can change an established law. The change will be recorded as a precedent and many wrong legal decisions will result. That can't happen. So Portia, dressed as a lawyer, simply says that no, that is not possible because a law is made for a reason. If every time we become flexible about the law, then in future people will take this as an example and want the judges to be flexible about everything. then the laws will become purposeless. It will be of no use. So that cannot happen. Shylock says, a just judge has come to judgment. O wise judge, how I do honor you. He is happy that here is somebody who is going to follow the law right down to the word. Portia says, can I read the agreement? Shylock says, of course, it will be my pleasure. Here it is. Again, Portia says, Shylock, they're offering 3 times the amount they borrowed from you. So Portia again appeals to the greedy nature of Shylock as a money lender. She again reminds him that these people who borrowed the money from you are ready to pay you the amount 3 times more. However, Shylock says, but I made an oath in heaven. Should I condemn my soul in the sight of God by disobeying it? No, not for all of Venice. He becomes dramatic and says that I agreed to a certain term and condition. He says that I signed an oath. An oath is like taking or making an oath in front of heavens, in front of God himself. So by not obeying those terms and conditions, he would be disobeying God himself. And no, he wouldn't do any such thing even at the cost of everything. Portia continues, well, the money wasn't paid back, and so the money lender may lawfully claim a pound of flesh nearest the merchant's heart to be cut off by him. But please, won't you consider showing mercy? Take 3 times your money. Tell me to tear up this contract. Now Portia, once she has appealed to the greedy nature of Shylock, now she appeals to the emotions and the sentiments of Shylock. She says, yes, the money you lent was not paid back to you, and you have every right to exact your agreement. You are allowed to cut a pound of flesh near the merchant's heart, but you are a human. Please show some mercy. Take the amount of money they're giving you. It's 3 times the original amount. And tell me to tear up this contract. Let me destroy this contract in front of you all, and you take the high road. Forgive this man. Be merciful. Accept the amount of money they're giving to you. But Shylock is adamant, he is obstinate, he is relentless. He is not going to give up so easily. He says, in due course, when it is paid according to the agreement. It does appear you are a worthy judge, you know the law, your explanation is most reasonable, but I understand you represent all that is lawful and just. So I request you to proceed to judgment. By my soul, I swear there is no power in the tongue of man to make me change my mind on this issue. Shylock says that I want my agreement to be followed down to every word. There is nothing in this world that is going to make me change my mind. And you are a judge, you know the laws. If an agreement is made, it has to be followed. Hence, be the good judge, the wise judge that you are, the worthy judge that you are, and give me my share of compensation. I do not want thrice the amount of money. I just require the agreement to be fulfilled. It is now Antonio's turn to speak. He says, I beg your honor to declare your verdict. He is a gentleman, we may see. He is ready to listen to the verdict, the decision that has been reached by the judges. Portia says, well then, here it is. Prepare yourself for Shylock's knife, for he will get his pound of flesh. The judgment has been given, the agreement will be followed. Antonio has to give away a pound of flesh to Shylock. Shylock says, oh noble judge, oh excellent young man, he is happy that his agreement is now being followed. Portia says, for the intent and purpose of the law, you will pay the full penalty as stated in your agreement. So, Antonio has to follow the agreement that he made with Shylock. He has to give away a pound of flesh. And this is done to keep the purpose, the aim of the agreement in spirit as well as in word. Shylock is overjoyed. He is happy that his contract is now being fulfilled. He says, "Oh, what a just and true judge! Such wisdom from one so young." Portia says, "Antonio, lay bare your chest." According to the agreement, a pound of flesh is to be cut off from the area near his heart. So Portia asks Antonio to lie down on the floor and bare his chest. Shylock says, "Ah, yes, the chest, nearest his heart. Those are the very words in the agreement, isn't it, a most noble judge?" Shylock is also happy that everything that is written in the contract is being followed. He has expected a pound of flesh from the area nearest his heart, and he is happy that Portia, the lawyer, is doing everything as mentioned in the agreement. Portia says, "Yes, that is correct. Is there a scale where to weigh the flesh?" She asks everyone around, especially Shylock, that is there a scale to weigh that it is a pound of flesh? Shylock says, "Yes, I have come prepared." Portia says, "Call a surgeon to attend to him, Shylock, and pay him. Antonio should not bleed to death." Portia tells Shylock to bring a surgeon and pay the surgeon for the work. She also mentions that Antonio should not die. When Portia, as the lawyer, says that Antonio must not bleed to death, Shylock asks, "Is that what the agreement says?" Portia says, "No, not exactly what the agreement says, but can't you allow so much mercy? It would be good for you to do a little charity." So Shylock is now confused. He said, "But that's not what the agreement says." Portia says, "Well, merchant, have you anything to say?" Antonio bids farewell to his friends and asks them to remember him with fondness. They in turn express their grief at having to lose such a dear friend and swear faithfulness to Antonio. Shylock, meanwhile, is getting impatient. So while Antonio is bidding farewell to his friends because he thinks now it is time for him to bleed to death, Shylock is getting impatient. He wants the judgment to be quickly given and the results to be carried out. Shylock says, "We are wasting time. Please deliver the sentence." Portia delivers the sentence. She says, "A pound of this merchant's flesh is yours. The court awards it, and the law authorizes it." So the sentence has been now passed. A pound of flesh will be cut off from Antonio's chest because it is the law. The agreement has to be followed. The court is ready for it and authorizes it. Shylock is happy. He says, "Most rightful judge." Then Portia says, "And you have to cut this flesh from his chest. The law allows it and the court awards it." She continues saying that since it is mentioned in the agreement that you require a pound of flesh nearest his heart, so you're going to cut that pound of flesh from his chest. And this also the law allows and authorizes, means you're not doing something against the law. Shylock says, "Most learned judge, a sentence. Come, prepare." He is happy that a sentence, a judgment has been given, and he is ready to now cut off a pound of flesh from Antonio's chest. However, Portia is not yet done giving the sentence. She says, "But wait a moment. There's something else. This agreement does not give you any blood at all. The words expressly specify a pound of flesh. So take your penalty of a pound of flesh, but if you shed one drop of blood when you cut it, the state of Venice will confiscate your land and property under Venetian law." So here comes the master stroke from Portia dressed as a lawyer. She says that in your agreement there is no mention of blood. So even when you extract a pound of flesh from his chest, you're not supposed to extract any blood at all. So if you take something that you have not agreed upon, then the Venice law dictates that your land and property will be confiscated. Confiscated means the authorities have the right to take away your property and land as punishment for taking something that you did not agree upon in your contract. Now that is a disturbing piece of information for Shylock. He says, "Is that the law?" Portia says, "You can see for yourself. You asked for justice, so rest assured that you will get justice and more than you desired." Shylock says, "In that case, I'll take their offer. Pay me 3 times the amount of the loan and let the merchant go. I take this offer then, pay the bond thrice." Now Shylock realizes that it is impossible to cut a pound of flesh and not spill blood at all. So he is confused and he is now ready to accept what they were offering him initially. He is going to accept 3 times the amount of money that he had lent, and now he is going to take up the offer. Bassanio says, "Here is the money." Then Portia says, "Wait, the money lender will have justice. Wait, don't rush. He shall have nothing but the penalty. So get ready to cut off the flesh. Shed no blood or cut less or more than exactly a pound of flesh. If you take more or less than exactly a pound, even if it's just the tiniest fraction of an ounce, if the scale changes by even so much as a hair, you die, and all your property will be confiscated. Why do you pause? Go ahead and take your pound of flesh." Here, Shylock is now stuck in the maze of his own agreement. Portia says that no, we want to give the moneylender Shylock justice. We have to agree to the terms that he has put forth to Antonio. He expected 1 pound of flesh and he will get exactly that. However, if he gets a little bit less or cuts off a little bit more, even a fraction of an ounce, even a tiniest bit, then he is going to die because he is not keeping the words of his contract, and his entire property will be taken by Venice, the government of Venice. So she asks Shylock, "Why are you pausing? Don't you want justice? Go ahead. Take the pound of flesh that you agreed upon. Why are you hesitating?" So Shylock says, "Give me my money and let me go." Now he does not want to risk it. He wants the initial agreement to be followed, the initial offer that was given to him. Bassanio is ready with the money. He says, "I have it ready for you. Here it is." But Portia says, no, he has refused it in the open court. He shall have merely justice and his agreement. If you remember earlier, Shylock openly said in the court that he wants only the agreement to be followed because he made an oath in front of God and he is not going to budge from it. So now that moment of accepting the initial offer is gone and he has to take or extract a pound of flesh without spilling the blood. Shylock says, "Can I not get just the principal amount of 3,000 ducats?" Now he is becoming flexible. He just requires the amount of money that he loaned to Antonio. Ducats are gold coins that were earlier used in European countries. Portia says, "No, nothing but the agreement. Take it at your risk, Shylock." Portia turns out to be smarter than Shylock. According to her, you initially refused mercy. You refused taking thrice the amount of money you loaned. So now you're not even getting the principal amount of money you gave to Antonio. You're going to get only what you agreed in the agreement. That is a pound of flesh without spilling any blood. Shylock says, "Well then, let him rot. I'm not going to argue anymore." Shylock finally has to give up because he knows it is physically impossible to extract exactly a pound of flesh, that too without spilling any amount of blood. And now he's not even getting the principal amount of money back. This shows that if he would have been flexible, if he would have been merciful, perhaps he would have some money in his pocket. But now justice and money both have been denied to him. As soon as Shylock realizes that he cannot get the justice he hoped for, in fact, he is not even getting the principal amount that he loaned, he is ready to dismiss the entire case and let it go. It is then that Portia says, Wait a minute, Shylock. The law has another hold on you. The laws of Venice state that if a foreign resident directly or indirectly attempts to kill any citizen, the person he tried to kill will receive one half of the foreigner's goods. The other half goes to the state. Whether the offending person lives or dies is up to the Duke. There's no one else to appeal to. In your predicament, you have earned that punishment because you have clearly plotted directly and indirectly too to take the life of the defendant. So get down on your knees and beg mercy from the Duke. Now Portia releases another truth. He said, in the guise of the lawyer, Portia says that there is another law of Venice that says that if a foreign citizen, in this case Shylock, a Jewish, is not a citizen of Venice, he is a foreigner who tries to kill a citizen of Venice, then that citizen of Venice has every right to get one half of the property of the foreigner, and the other half will go to the government of Venice. Also, the life of this foreigner lies in the hand of the Duke. This man cannot appeal to anybody else. Now the predicament is, now Shylock's troubles are that he tried to scheme and take away the life of Antonio, a Venice citizen. So his plan has backfired. He not only is at the risk of losing his life, but he is also going to lose all his property. The Duke says, I want you to see the difference between us, so I pardon you even before you ask for a pardon. Half of your wealth goes to Antonio, the other half goes to the state. However, if you show proper humility, I may reduce this penalty to a fine. The Duke addresses Shylock and says that, see, this is the difference between you, a Jewish foreigner, and us, citizens of Venice. I am going to pardon you. I'm not taking away your life. However, your property will be now divided into two equal halves. One half will be given to Antonio, the citizen of Venice, whose life you schemed to take away, and the other half will go to the government of Venice. But if you show humility, maybe I will reduce this penalty and I will only extract some fine from you. To this, Portia interrupts and says, the state's half can be reduced, but not Antonio's. So she is not willing to compromise on the half that Antonio is supposed to receive. Shylock then says, no, take my life and all. Why pardon that? You take my house when you do take the prop that supports my house. You take my life when you take the means whereby I live. Shylock here is being practical. He says that, why are you pardoning my life? Why are you saying that we will take your property but not my life? In a way, when you're taking my property, you're taking my life because that property supports my life. If you take away my house, how am I supposed to live? So it's better if you take away my life. But Portia says, what mercy can you render him, Antonio? This is a question directed at Antonio and asking him what does he want. Antonio says, if it pleases my lord the Duke and all the court to quit the fine for one half of his goods, I am content. But let him place the other half in trust with me for the gentleman who stole his daughter's heart. Secondly, he must make a will here in this court, leaving everything he possesses to his daughter and son-in-law Lorenzo when he dies. So in this dialogue of Antonio, we come to know about two more characters, Lorenzo and Shylock's daughter. Lorenzo is the son-in-law of Shylock. Here Antonio says that if the Duke, the judge, wants, he can reduce the fine on one penalty, that is one half of the government's share. However, the other half should be given to Antonio, which he will name it to Lorenzo. Lorenzo, the son-in-law of Shylock. He also says that right here in the court, Shylock should agree that when he dies, all his property will pass on to his own daughter and Lorenzo. Duke says, "He shall do this, or else I will deny the pardon that I just pronounced here. Are you content, Shylock? What do you say?" So the Duke gives a verdict. He says that Shylock has to agree to the terms put forth by Antonio, and he asks Shylock, is he content with the verdict? And Shylock says, I am content. Portia then says, "Clerk, draft a will for Shylock, the money lender." So here in the court itself, a will be drafted, which Shylock will sign, that after his death, all his property will go to his daughter and Lorenzo, and one half he has to name to Antonio, which he will give away to Lorenzo. We now approach to the end of the scene. Shylock simply says, "Please allow me to leave. I am not well. Send the deed after me. I will sign it." Deed here means the will that was being prepared in the court in front of all the lawyers, dukes, judges, Antonio as well as Bassanio. So Duke says, "You may go, but you first have to sign the will and then leave." The scene ends with the exit of Shylock. Now that scene you have read is an extract edited from the main play, The Merchant of Venice by William Shakespeare. This brings us to the reading and explanation of the scene mentioned in the play, The Merchant of Venice by William Shakespeare. Go through the glossary and learn these word meanings. We shall discuss this scene from the play in greater detail in our next video lesson. Till then, thank you and take care.